Welcome to the Florandorder Time Chat. Today I'm joined by Ruth Slade from She Rocks Digital, a Hobart-based digital marketing specialist who helps small business owners cut through the noise and finally get their online presence working for them. We're going to be exploring boundaries, awareness of time audits, business tools, and how to shift your schedule so it fits your life now, not the life you had 5, 10, or 15 years ago. So this chat is all about getting intentional, empowered, and less exhausted by your day today. So welcome, Ruth.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have a chat with you today.
I know. And we've already started pre-chatting so much that we were like,
We
let's
did.
start the record.
There was so much goodness in that. Hopefully we can rinse and repeat.
I know. It's like, let's capture that and bring it into this. So firstly, I just love your name, She Rocks Digital. How did that come to you? How did it come to be?
Well, it was actually, there was wine involved, of course, with girlfriends, and we all, there was a couple of us, and we'd all actually gone to primary school together and then high school together. Had lost touch, reconnected when we all realised we had businesses, and started sort of catching up just to have a chat and debrief regularly over wine, of course. And at that stage, I had a different business, but was looking at going into something different, something more service-based. I had a really big admin background, so I was thinking something VA related to sort of incorporate that, but with SEO involved because I'd gone down that rabbit hole with my e-com businesses. And yeah, we were just tossing around names and discussing it. And one of the ladies said about, you rock or something like that, which then led into, She Rocks VA it was at the time I ran with. And then I was doing, I had launched the VA business and that, but then I was doing so much around SEO with the business. That was what I was passionate about. But I was getting really frustrated that everyone or the majority were coming to me for SEO services because they weren't getting the traffic and everything and the reach that they wanted or were expecting with their new websites. But their web designer had never mentioned to them that, you need SEO to get the traffic, to get the reach and everything with your website. You can't just put a website up and think the traffic's going to come, unfortunately. So then I upskilled in some web design and everything, and then that sort of led down a digital marketing path. And so I decided, well, VA doesn't really suit me anymore. Let's come out and rebrand as She Rocks Digital. So, yeah, a bit of a long story there, but, yeah, girlfriends and wine is the crux of that story.
I love it. She Rocks Digital. And as you say, if your passions change in the future, or it's just so adaptable. So well done on that one.
It is. So, sort of overall, I've had the business 9 years now. So, yeah, and just rebranded as well. So I'm still rolling that out. But, yeah, really excited about the sort of new direction and stuff as well.
Oh, very cool. And speaking of a new direction, something you did recently was auditing your calendar and tools, something I'm a huge advocate of. What did auditing your calendar and tools reveal, and what changes did you make as a result of that?
Oh, I just felt like throwing everything out the window. Coming up to that point, I will say, I just found that I was just constantly overbooking myself, constantly. Well, I didn't realise I was sort of overbooking myself to start with. I was just always behind. Originally, I only worked 4 days a week, and then Wednesdays used to be my sort of day off, appointment day, mum day, but then sort of started turning into my overflow day when the kids had gotten sick and I needed to catch up, or if I'd gotten sick or whatever. And then we had a bit of a switch between my husband and I, because just all of a sudden out the blue, he got made redundant a few months ago. And then we were like, oh my God. hadn't seen this coming. We weren't prepared. And so we were like, okay, that's right. I can scale up. But then I sort of had this epiphany of, okay, so I scale up until you get another job, but then I scale backwards again. Like that's, and then we don't know the timeframes of things. And so that then led to, I'm going to work in the business full time. He's actually going to go part time. So that then led to, well, how much can I actually earn? How much can I work? If I'm doing 5 days, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, because I sort of follow that 9 to 5 schedule because, kids and with his work and stuff, that sort of has always sort of suited me. But then when you break down like what's admin time and bookkeeping and marketing and, lunch, because, if I'm working 9 to 5, I really need to eat. Like when I was just doing school hours, I could sort of push the eating bit a bit. But, yeah, I get very, it's not pleasant if I haven't eaten. So then, you look at discovery call times and writing proposals. So I'm like, oh, dear God, like how much billable time have I actually got? And then throw in holidays. So that then led me to really audit like what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, which was really because I'd sort of gotten into a habit of breaking things down. So I had started approaching my social media like weekly rather than doing what I could and time blocking and doing it in advance. But if I allowed a week, it took an hour a week, it took me longer than an hour a week because you disappear down that rabbit hole and then you click on something else and then you end up in a Facebook group and it's like, and then you end up in Canva because you've got to design a pretty graphic and then, I have got templates for that, but, this might look better and do I want to do a reel? So it was just this. Can you imagine where my brain and went? And then so I sort of took a step back from everything and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do email. I need to do bookkeeping. I need lead generation because that's super important because I need to grow the business now. My marketing, let's time block that. One of the big things I found was that I have a booking platform, which I love, and that syncs to Trello, which I run my business out of. I run my business out of Trello. I run my life nearly out of Trello as well. And so my business calendar synced to Trello, so I could see what I've got on what days, and I knew how many hours that I could work in a day and what was how much billable time. But what I didn't realise and what was really tripping me up was that my personal calendar wasn't synced to Trello. So I was adding my personal appointments in manually, but then like 2 months out, like because I sort of get booked up 2-3 months in advance, things were slipping through the cracks. But then Trello and Google won't talk to each other. And then I ended up down a Zapier rabbit hole, which I got it all connected. And it was just, I sort of put it in the too hard basket to start with, and I was doing it manually. And I'm like, oh my God, what can I automate in my business that I don't need to be doing manually? So yeah, so everything talks to each other with my calendar. So that is wonderful and has really started to make a difference. I still need to set my boundaries and stop booking in more than what I should be in a day. So that's a work in progress. So do check back in 6 months and see how that one is going. But boundaries is something that I've always sucked at. So I'll be honest with that. So yeah, it is a work in progress. I am getting better at it because I have in the back of my mind always of, do I want to live like this? Like, do I want to feel rushed? Do I want to feel like I'm not ending the day on a high note with lots, still to do, always feeling behind? Do I want to be working weekends or evenings? Because I don't. Like, my kids have activities. I want to have a life by choice. Like, I don't mind it now and then and that sort of thing if it's a means to an end. But I don't want it to be like a sloppy overflow bad habit, I suppose, is what I'm getting at. Like, when you just don't set, I suppose, intent and things just sort of gradually slide or snowball, and then at the end of the day or the end of the week, and you think, oh my God, I need to get all this done, X, Y, Z. I've got my first program course that I'm starting on Monday with my lovely participants, enrollees. But yeah, the idea was that I was going to have all that recorded at the start of the month. But then, I got sick, kids got sick. We then went on a 2-week holiday to Queensland, which was lovely. We had, thunderstorms. We had an earthquake,
Yes.
So
Life
a dull
happens.
moment in my household. So, you got to sort of learn, I suppose, to roll with the punches. But I think what I've really learned in it is boundaries, intent. Are the tools that I'm using the right tools for me as well? Because I've used Trello nearly from day dot, and I pay for Trello. But then there's certain things within it that do frustrate me. But yeah, so then I disappeared down the rabbit hole of, let's look at the other project management software and tools, and I'm back to Trello. So yeah. So it's been interesting.
I think you raise a really good point there, that for many small business owners, that blur of business and life is even more blurry than the like your average 9-to-5er who can just either one, leave it at home, or is less invested, so can kind of detach. But yeah, you're right with those boundaries and the rabbit hole. Let's touch on rabbit holes. So
yes, there's so many rabbit holes,
because sometimes people can get down those rabbit holes thinking, oh, this is going to lead to the successful thing that is going to help me manage my time, my life, and everything. But it is just a rabbit hole that we're going through. And then on the other hand, there is that rabbit hole of scrolling.
Yes. Do not pick up your phone.
Yeah.
I should be working. Yes. Like there's so many things like that we need phones for in a way, and notifications and things like that. But yeah, that's when I started auditing my time. And like on paper, it looked like my schedule should have been perfect. I had everything allocated. I had time blocked. I had time allocated. It looked A1. But at the end of the day, I still wasn't getting it all done. So I actually started making a list as to why, what was going askew. I had even twice a week, I had blank time scheduled in my calendar for ad hoc client work that came in, just for those last minute little jobs and things. But rather than doing them on the days that I had allocated, I was doing them sort of the day that they came in. But that through, nothing's a 5-minute job. By the time you log on, you do it, you email back and forth. So that was blowing it out. When I would pick up my phone to do something, but then, it's a notification for this. Let's click into this. That person sent me, and And, okay, that 20 minutes has gone by now. I better get back to work. Now, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. I actually picked up my phone to do something.
Yes, yes.
So there's 20 minutes, half an hour, and I've not done what I was supposed to.
And how do you, what's your technique for pulling yourself out of the rabbit hole?
Google Timer. I have actually found to be really awesome, and I actually need to go back to doing it since I don't have to do it all the time, but just when I'm floundering a bit or I'm just a bit, I don't know if you'd say uncentered, unfocused, or, just not in the zone, I just find if I flick my Google Timer on there and I can't move, I've got to do this task until the timer goes off. That seems to work really well. And I might need to just do it for a few days. Sometimes I might need to do it for a week or two, just depending on what my mindset is. But I just find that's a really nice reset. And also starting the day with intent has been something that I've just really discovered sets the tone for the rest of the day. So getting up at a set time, going for a walk for me before the kids have even gone to school. So then when I come back from school drop off or whatever I've had to do first thing, then I'm straight into the office. The brain fog is sort of cleared from the walk, and especially being in Hobart, it's quite chilly of a morning. So the cold air has definitely cleared that fog. I'm wide awake by then. Whereas if I just was waking up, I'd scroll on my phone, I'd disappear down the social media rabbit hole, I'd jump into my email, half hour, 45 minutes, I've gone for a walk, but I'm still laying in bed, scrolling on my phone. I've then got to get up and get the kids organised, or hubby is, and then I can sort of stroll into the office. It was just, and then I'm not motivated. I'm not, in the zone, ready for work. Whereas if I do those couple of sort of actions, I suppose it's a bit like going, when you leave the house to work, where you're doing these things. And that's one of the things I used to do too at the end of the day, which I need to start doing again actually, is closing my office door when I'm finished. And as I'm walking over the threshold, I sort of do that switch, leaving work behind. Now I'm in mum personal me mode now, and the door stays shut. So,
really, really good. Oh, so many good threads that you touched on there. And I really love the reality of actually what a 5-minute job is, or like what our brain says. Take 5 minutes. And even just as you say, logging in, opening the documents, a call to someone or collecting that information, it's definitely more than 5 minutes. So you're right with your batching to keep those to those times that you have allocated, because then that's the one time you've opened the document or the program.
And not looking into it, delving into it too much beforehand. Otherwise you're just double handling and touching too many touch points, and so I find that is easier as well, because if you're going to open it in the beginning, well, you might as well just do it. But then there's repercussions of that, in that, I've read it, I've opened it, let's do it now. But then, I was supposed to be doing XYZ, now I'm not going to get that done. Does that then flow into the next day? And then if you do that every day, like, just action that, like, you're not teaching your clients how to work and setting the expectations. I always say to myself, like, it's my business, my rules. It needs to work for me. But then I will drop the ball on that too and turn into being a people pleaser and get into that mindset. It's only 5 minutes. What's it matter? I'll just do it now while I'm chatting to them. why I know they're on email and they're available for questions. But that has a flow-on effect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like time audits, mainly
Yes.
the goal is in the awareness, just as you were talking about there, of like
Yes.
just recognizing the consequences of like, if I do this,
Yep.
then this blows out and then
Yep.
this happens.
Yep.
And being mindful of that and the domino effect is just one of the prime outcomes of a time audit, which you kind of found with your
Yes.
switching routes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And even I realized like I hadn't allowed in my schedule to do discovery calls. So, you know, some weeks I might not have one, but then other weeks I might have three. But then that's also then 3 proposals to do. Or I also offer like rockstar power hours if people sort of want a consult or mentoring session with me to discuss their journey, or if they're stuck on something, which I love doing. But I hadn't allowed for those in my schedule, and clients can jump on and book directly through my schedule, through my calendar, which is great. But if I haven't sort of kept that up to date, so I've sort of started paying attention to my calendar. Okay, if I've got a couple of them already in a week, do I want to do more? And I've started putting some extra white noise in my Trello calendar to allow for those, so I'm not overbooking myself. So, and then, you know, you don't want to jump from one task to another and everything. And, you know, from a discovery call or from a Rockstar Power Hour, you know, you want some breathing room. You want, you know, I didn't go into business to just be like a soldier, like in the cycle or wheels, you know, the rabbit hole, or I don't know what to call it. But, you know, I wanted to have control, I suppose is what I'm saying, over my day. It's very easy, though, as a business owner, to forget that, I suppose, your why and, you know, why you started the business. You know, originally it was so I could stay at home with the kids, and that sort of thing, and to have flexibility around my schedule and that, which has been great. And to, you know, be able to go to the school things and that sort of thing. But, you know, and people sort of say to me when they find out I work from home and stuff, oh, you know, you'd be able to chuck a load of washing on and do that and this. And I'm like, no, because I'm working. How long does it take to chuck a load of washing on? Like, does the washing just appear in the machine for you to turn it on? Or do you need to go looking for it and to collect it from everyone's room and then sort it and then put it in the machine and then put the detergent on and then turn it on and then walk away? And then do you leave it there till the end of the day so it gets all wrinkled and that? Or do you have to go and get it out and then hang it up or put it in the dryer? Like,
so well put.
5-minute job.
Yes.
And,
so well,
you know, even if it is like a 5-minute job, all those 5-minute jobs add up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, that's so true. It's about control over how we're working, how we're living. And then that makes me think back to your comment about lunch. Like, you know, so many people I see don't have that, you know, and in traditional work and self-employment, they haven't factored in their need for food, which is just a basic human requirement. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, because lunch is so important.
Well, that's it. And like, when I'm, you know, just working in my little office, and, you know, some days I don't have, you know, phone calls or video calls and that. So it literally is me and my 2 dogs. And they don't answer back to me, which is a bit disappointing. Although they are very good listeners and they do agree with me a lot. But, you know, it would just be nice to have that 2-way conversation sometimes. But so it's just nice to get out of my 4 walls and go to the fridge. Although on that I'm very close. My office is very close to the kitchen. So if you are planning a home office, I do recommend away from the kitchen would be ideal, because
That's
just
actually a
too
good
close,
point.
at least then you can get your steps up. If you're really set on going to the kitchen all the time, at least it's a positive and you can get your steps up.
That's so true. Nowadays, I don't mind forgetting something on the other side of the house because I'm like, more
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah, yes, yes. And that's the thing, like, especially because I don't have to walk to the car. I don't have to walk from the car park to the office. Like, I've just literally got to stroll, like, maybe 10 steps down the hall to my office. Like, if I haven't gone for a walk, if I haven't had to do other things, my step count is atrocious if I've had a really busy day.
Yeah.
And I feel it, like, on my body, mentally, like just being stuck in front of a computer if I've not had someone to chat to as well. Like, yeah, like we need to allow time for us. We only have one body. And we need to look after it, and one mind, you know, our mindset is just as important. I really need to take my words of wisdom on and really start doing what I'm saying here too.
Oh,
Work
no,
in
you're so
progress,
right.
but
Yeah, you're so
at least
right. And
it's
it
there.
links back. And it links back to the boundaries again. Like we need to put lunchtime in, we need to put walking time in, especially if you are working from home, then yes, it can feel like this extra time that you have back from commuting and whatnot. It's extra work time, but yes, our bodies, our minds, everything needs a check-in, needs some love and attention.
That's
So
it. That's it. It does so much for us. Yeah, we need to look after it. And it's always, which is stupidly, it's like, it's usually, for me, it's been the last thing that I do. Like, whereas it should be number one. Because if I'm not looking after me, then what am I bringing to work? What am I bringing to, you know, to the family and that? So, you know, that sometimes we just need to reset. We need to go through that process to come out of it the other side. And who knows what's to come.
And exactly, just as you were saying how that your husband's change in work situation really threw things up, so it's looking at your life now, not how it has been, or you know, trying to replicate another time, but being real about what's happening now.
Well, that's it. And it's felt so strange because I've always had that part-time aspect to the business. I've always done the school hours. Mum used to pick the kids up for me once or twice a week so I could have a full day in the office, which was fabulous. But then she got sick out of the blue a couple of years ago. And then I really scaled back work, the big C, of course. So I was sort of helping her and that through her cancer journey. And then we lost her. And then I had the house to pack up and everything as well when that came about, and Dad had to go into an aged care home. So, like, I really scaled the business back to just let it tick over, and I just had my ongoing and regular clients, my marketing, everything stopped that I didn't have to do. If the business came to me and I had the capacity to do it, then I would do it, but I didn't go looking for it. But it's amazing how much of a flow-on effect not marketing for a year or two has, because I went from back then, I was nearly up to, I don't know if it was a 4 or 5 month wait list. And then I was like, you know, 2 years later, and, you know, I just had my regular clients. And then, like, in 2 years, marketing had changed so much. Social media had changed so much. What I did back then to now. And then it was like starting afresh again. And then I think that's where a lot of the bad habits started to come from as well, because it was my schedule had just been so crazy. There was no set work hours. There was no set days. And then trying to get back into that, it's been a real process and learning curve, and I've sort of had to go gently on myself as well. But then having that come up with hubby as well, it was like, oh, okay. Like I missed having those dedicated times and full days to work in the business, because you think, oh, once the kids go to school, I'm going to have so much time. Oh my God, I do not know what I was thinking when I used to think like that. By the time you do school drop off, by the time you get home, by the time you get into it, and then it's like, oh my God, it's time to go again, like to pick them up. And yeah, it's just amazing how quickly the hours go.
It really is.
Yeah.
Aww.
So it's been interesting. It's been a really good shift, and hubby has started working in the business a little bit with me too, which we're still navigating what that's going to look like, because he's got a very different background to mine, but is very sort of customer service focused and things like that. So yeah, what that's going to look like to be continued. So yeah, it's interesting.
We will have to have another episode, I think, in, what did you say, 6 months, to check in on your boundaries and also to see how is it going with working with your partner, because that would be very interesting.
Yes. I was saying to a lady I caught up with at a networking event recently, and I said, what did I say? Something about watch this space as to whether or not I've killed him or not. So stay tuned for a few months and see if he's still alive or something. Yes. So.
Well, everyone on the time chat, watch this space. We'll have Ruth back, and we'll see if he survived. Thank you so much for coming onto the time chat.
Oh, thanks so much. It's been awesome. We've covered so much.
We really have.